Each day, 4 billion of us go to work. We end up at an office or a factory, a field or a foundry. Our workplace can be a place to chase dreams, to set goals, to fulfill desires. But for some, the workplace is a place of indescribable misery, indecency, and danger. In days gone by, miners worked with picks and shovels, removing coal by the sweat of their brow. Technology and working conditions have improved over the years, but not everywhere. These are not archived pictures. This is today in Bihar, India. At 300 meters, this coal mine is one of the deepest in the world, still worked by man, not machine.
हम जब नीचे अंडरग्राउंड में काम करते हैं, समस्या ये है कि वहाँ पर जैसे हम लोग का हवा नहीं मिलता है, सपोर्ट नहीं होता है, यही सब हम लोग को समस्या है।
आपको जो मैंने पूछा जब ब्लास्ट के बारे में आप कुछ बता रहे थे,
केस जो है आतान जिसको कहता है इंग्लिश है, वहाँ इंग्लिश भाषा का है। आप लोग जो भाषा बोलते हैं तो इंग्लिश भाषा का फेस बोला जाता है। तो जैसा कि मान लो तो फेस दोनों तरफ से चलता है, उधर से भी ब्लास्टिंग करके लाता है, इधर से भी ब्लास्टिंग करके जाता है। तो उन लोग का माने जो भी है उन लोग का माने वार्निंग देना चाहिए। ये भाई उधर का माइनर जो है, माइनर भाग जाए इधर, फिर उन लोग अंदाजा नहीं करने सका ये कितना मीटर है, ला रहा अब लास्ट हो गया। अब उधर से ब्लास्टिंग है, इधर माइनर है, उसमें भी एक्सीडेंट हो गया। वार्निंग देना चाहिए ये भाई अंदाजा जो सर्वियर है जो अभी बहुत है, बाकी है, इतना मीटर बाकी है, लेकिन उन लोग अंदाजा नहीं कर रहा, उसमें भी एक्सीडेंट हुआ है हमारा मोरडी में।
Here in Potosi, Bolivia, miners once slaved to fill the coffers of the Spanish conquistadores. Today, they work the mines for themselves, all too often with inadequate tools or regard for their own safety. Mining is one of the most hazardous jobs in the world, but it is not the only one. Hundreds of millions of people are employed in conditions that deprive them of dignity, of value, and of life itself. Perhaps 250 million workers, equal to the entire population of the United States, suffer a work-related accident each year. More than 3,000 workers per day will die because of the work they do for a living. Even with advances in technology and an awareness of safety standards, coal mining is becoming more, not less dangerous in some countries. In a working life of 30 years, as many as 1 in 3 miners may be killed by explosions, roof fall-ins, or accidents with tools and machinery. In Turkey, a catastrophic mine accident resulted in the deaths of 270. Poor equipment and inexperience probably contributed to this disaster. The drive for productivity has sometimes raced ahead of the drive to produce safely. A more insidious kind of death awaits miners who are not killed in accidents. The hospital in Potosi is filled with men whose only lifeline is a tube attached to a tank of oxygen. They know their time is limited, their lives cut short by the mine. Marcelino is one of them.
Yo trabajaba terrorista en por madera. Y entonces, a la larga, me ha venido la enfermedad. No, ahora, con la edad que tengo, con la edad que he avanzado, entonces el polvo de la mina se me ha entrado a los pulmones y eso no deja a uno respirar tranquilamente. Entonces eso se llama mal de mina, ¿ya? Y entonces como para no hay tan cura, no hay cura.
The emerald mines of Colombia grab hold of the lives of men, women, and children alike. The rainy season swells the rivers, drawing throngs of miners who dredge the sludgy discharge of the mines. In a place with little other ways of making a living, emerald mining is truly a river of life. No particle is too small to be salvaged, no one too young, too old, or too disabled to pass up the chance of a fortune.
Muy duro, agota mucho, suda uno mucho y lo agota uno mucho. Y si la comidita es mala, ahí sí queda como un garabato. Queda uno como un garabato, eso es muy duro. Suda uno mucho, quema uno mucha energía.
A speck of green dust, a small fortune to have at such a large price. Farm work begins early. To cut sugarcane, the 12 to 14-hour day starts at 4 a.m., often by the light of candles that workers carry to work in the hours before daylight. By midday, though, the sun has added its intense heat to the smoldering brush that has been burned away from the base of the canes. Knife wounds account for most of the injuries here. The work is repetitive, and under the pressure to work fast, so are the accidents. These transient workers are given few breaks and even fewer facilities to live.
Generalmente vamos directamente a los chacos, ¿no? Donde hay galpones y en otras partes carpas, en fin, de todo, ¿no? Nos hacen esperar en varias partes falla el agua, las carpas, pues de salud, todas cosas. Hay un poquito de descuido, ¿no? Por falta de los patrones o contratistas. Siempre está faltando una otra cosa, a lo menos los que tienen familiares, hijos enfermos. No hay auxilios de primera necesidad, ¿no? Pero
Agricultural workers make up almost 1/2 of the world's total workforce. Even in developed countries like Australia, Canada, and the United States, agriculture ranks consistently among the most dangerous work to be found. Machines that cut and shred, power tools, harvesters, and tractors are the main threat to life and limb. Another threat lies in the widespread use of pesticides that in some countries may account for up to 10% of all work-related deaths. Worldwide, there are between 2 to 5 million people poisoned by pesticides each year. 40,000 of them are poisoned to death.
ce jour-là, moi j'étais ici, d'un coup, on a entendu une grande explosion. Bon, ça c'est une scène qui parle de l'accident de Sonacos. Il y avait beaucoup de morts. Ce jour-là, on ne va pas oublier, c'est le 24 mars 1992. On ne l'oubliera jamais. Et il y avait beaucoup de monde aussi qui courait, qui venait. Même il y avait des blessés qui plongeaient même dans l'eau ce jour-là. Il y avait même des grands-mamans, il y avait les femmes, les enfants qui couraient.
Ami Diob's lungs and skin were seared by the Sonacos chemical explosion.
teman berpayung dan bermakam. Macam nak apa kita macam boleh tahu. Yakin. Ada itu.
The Sonacos chemical explosion in Senegal was a major accident in a list of factory disasters that continues to grow. On the afternoon of May 10, 1993, the Kadar toy factory in Thailand burst into flames, killing 188 workers. The fire was all too similar to one nearly a century earlier in the New York Triangle shirt factory. Lessons from that fire, clearly marked unblocked exits, and fire safety training went unheeded before the Kadar fire. The steel mills of Brazil are fired by the charcoal from mud ovens stoked by these laborers in Santa Rita do Rio Pardo. From dawn to dusk, they pack the ovens tight with eucalyptus logs, but the more they work, the more indebted they become, racking up bills for food, housing, and transportation, all provided by their employer, all deducted from their meager salaries. The alien landscape that is their world is devoid of water, of electricity, and of decency. Of indecent places and indecent work, one could speak of many. Where the poor and the destitute scavenge the garbage dumps for plastic and wire to recycle. Where men salvage the detritus of a global economy, pulling steel ships apart for scrap metal. Where children sit knee-deep in explosives, cutting and packing firecrackers, or wait by their mothers, desperate to find some scrap of food, some scrap of value, some scrap of dignity.
I think that decent work, the access to decent work, is probably the most generalized aspiration of the people in the world. After basic human rights, in order not to be persecuted or put in jail or disappear or die, the next ambition of people is to live a dignified life. And the essence of dignity is work. But it's not just any work, it's decent work.
We must put a human face on the global economy, giving working people everywhere a stake in its success, equipping them all to reap its rewards, providing for their families the basic conditions of a just society.
Ya la gente está habituada a trabajar en este sentido, ¿no? Usted sabe que la necesidad obliga al trabajador a soportar todas esas cosas y tenemos que someternos a trabajar por la situación que se encuentra, que se atraviesa, no es una cosa favorable para el trabajador.
हम लोग तो गरीब वर्कर है, पेट के लिए, लड़का बच्चा के लिए ये सब करना पड़ता है, चाहे हम जान दे दें या तो नौकरी कर लें, ऐसी मतलब प्रॉब्लम है। ऐसा समझता मतलब यानी वर्कर के ऊपर है, बीसीएल के अंदर मतलब दवा के ऊपर काम किया जाता है।
Mm.